Welcome to another Blender tutorial. We're going to start a project from scratch. We're going to learn more about animations and a little bit about modeling too. So first, let's add the monkey. And if we look at the monkey, even if we put smooth on, it's still rather rough. So there's a modifier that will make it smoother. Click on the modifier, add modifier, and we're going to do subdivision surface. And now we can see that it's much smoother. We do a render, we can see that it's very smooth. Okay, let's place this. Let's move it to the side and move it up a little bit. For the next bit, we're going to learn how to mirror something, but we're going to want to be in orthographic view. That's 5 on the numpad and 7. I'm going to add a mesh plane, and I'm going to go in edit mode. I'm going to select one corner and delete it. Now I'm going to take all the vertices, and I'm going to subdivide. And we're just going to move some of the vertices around. And we're just going to make a heart shape. And you can be more precise with the positioning. And I'm just going to make this x value -1. And that'll line up with this one. If it's not lined up perfectly, don't worry about it. And I'm going to go back to object mode, and that's tab. Okay, that looks like half a heart. And to make things perfectly symmetrical, I want to use the add modifier. And it's going to make a mistake here. Okay, that's because it mirrors at the cursor. So let's cancel this for now. What you need to do is you need to press Control A, and you want to apply location. Now it moves the cursor to 0, 0, and we've got the edge of the heart along the y-axis. Now we can add the modifier, mirror. And now that mirrors it on the proper axis. And we can apply this. Let's just scale this heart down a bit. It's a smaller heart. And again, it's rough. So let's do a subsurface division, and it's smoother. That's good enough, so we'll apply it. Let's go into edit mode. And let's extrude this. We want to select all the points with A and extrude with E. And we'll lock the Z-axis down. We'll add a face. We'll turn off shading. Deselect all the points with A. Select a rectangular box with B. And add another face to the bottom. And turn shading back on. Go back to object mode with tab. And we have a heart shape. But it's a prism. And what we would like to do is do subdivision surface, and that turns it into a more smooth looking shape. It's kind of like a diamond shaped heart. It's still a bit rough, so we could apply and do another subdivision surface, and it's a bit smoother. And we'll render it to see what that looks like. And that's not too bad. So what we would like to do now is to rotate this heart. We'll rotate it on the x-axis. And we'll bring it up. Okay, next we would like to add a cube to the scene. Press A to deselect everything. Shift A to add, and we'll add a cube. We don't want a cube this big. We'll make it 0.75. And we'll have to make the Z 0.75. And let's move it to the back. Okay, deselect. Let's add a sphere. I'm going to add a UV sphere. And I'm going to make it a little slightly higher resolution, 32 and 64. And I don't want it so big. And I'm going to move it over to here. Okay, so I'm just going to even out that number here, round it to an integer. Move it down. Again, I'm going to just make a nice number. And I'm going to insert a keyframe. Location. Frame 250. And we're going to move it up. Make it a nice value. And insert a keyframe. Okay, so if I animate it, it goes through like that. That's not the look I want. What I'm going to do is add a modifier. And I'm going to select the cube. And I'm going to do a boolean operation, and it's going to be the difference. And I'm going to use the sphere. I'm going to rename the sphere to mod cube. And I'm going to rename this sphere to mod sphere. And I'm going to turn this sphere off for viewing, and I'm also going to turn it off for rendering. Now, if I scrub on the timeline, you can see that it's taking a chunk out of the cube. And that's what I want for the render. And it's important here that I do not apply this modifier because it's animating. If I apply it, it will just lock the modifier for the one frame. Okay, let's move on to the next effect. I'm going to add some text. Press A to deselect. Add some text. And I'm going to edit with tab. I'm just going to put Blender Wave. And I'll tab to get out of it. Let's extrude this. And we're going to rotate the text. And I'll rotate it 45 degrees as well. And let's bring it up. Okay, it's floating in the air, but that's okay. Now let's add a modifier. We're going to use the wave for this. Okay, and we can see it waving around. And that's waving a lot faster than I would like. So we can adjust the speed here. And let's play it. Okay, that's a very slow wave. So let's double the speed. And just enter a decimal value, 0.1. And I think that's a decent speed, so we'll leave it at that. And we're going to add one last effect here. I'm going to deselect. I'm going to add another cube. And I'm going to rename this to decicube because we're going to use the decimate function. Again, I'm going to make this cube smaller. Let's make it 0.5. Give it a 0.5 Z value. And we need to go into edit mode, tab, and then we can subdivide. And subdivide 4 times is sufficient. And we go back to object mode, add the modifier. We're going to do a build. Okay, and we want to build it up to 200. And we'll randomize the build. And if we play it, we can see it generate. Okay, and to complete the scene, we'll add a mesh plane and we'll make it big, and that'll just act as the floor. We'll just make it slightly below everything, negative 0.01. And let's just do a quick render animation. Okay, there's no colors here. Well, that's fine. You can add textures. I'm going to select the text again, and I'm just going to move it just slightly above that decimate cube. Move the heart up a bit. And let's go to frame 1 and insert a keyframe for rotation. I'm going to go to frame 61 and I'm going to change Z rotation and insert a keyframe for the rotation. Go to graph editor, select rotation. This blue one is the one I want to fix. And for the channel, we want to extrapolate linear so that it spins evenly. And if we play it, we can see it spinning. Okay, let's select the monkey. Go to frame 1. And we'll insert a keyframe for the rotation there. Go to frame 61. We'll make the monkey spin slightly faster. 135. Insert a keyframe for rotation. And I'm using I to insert keyframes. Let's go to the graph editor. Same thing. Let's select the Z component and make it linear extrapolation. Back to 3D view and we'll play. So we have lots of motion on the screen. It makes for a nice animation. You'll want to position your camera properly. You want to add more lights. And you want to add textures. And that will complete your assignment. But that completes this lesson.